Hello and welcome to my channel, Chasing Ghosts. I am Tara Smith, and I'm getting fuel this morning. Gotta get that liquid dinosaur. So how are all you beautiful people doing? Hopefully you're doing well. Life's crazy. And I gotta go to work, because that's how I make my money. I have to have a job. I have to work. Some people can sit at home. I don't know how that works for them. But if I don't work, I don't eat, you know. Speaking of which, I do have a Patreon. Memberships as low as $1. It's listed on my channel if you care to check that out and help support what I'm doing. And that money goes towards, if I go to a rally or cameras and stuff like that. And hopefully next time I'll be able to get more prizes, stuff like that. So I did a giveaway at the Lone Star rally, or not at the rally, but you know, when I went to the Lone Star rally. Haven't been talking this morning, so now my throat's like, you're talking. Yes, I want a receipt. No, I don't want to see the cashier. There we go. But no, like year before last, I got, you know, some stuff from the Lone Star rally when I was there to give away, you know, random spin the wheel kind of stuff. And it would go towards things like that, and you know, recording equipment, that sort of stuff. Basically, that's for stuff for the channel. As far as this bike goes, I'm not going to be on it much for a while because it's about to have an oil change due. So I need to change the oil on it. Problem is, I don't have any money. So broke I can't pay attention. And I could register the other bike quicker and get it back on the road. That sort of thing. It sucks. And the other bike is for sale. So if you want a 2022 Harley-Davidson Fat Bod, I have one for sale. And that is the other bike that I use on the channel. There we go. Now see the mileage? I'm real close. There it is. And yes, I know I have a check engine light and I know what it's from. Engine is fine. I just haven't cleared it. It started with a low voltage like a week ago. And when you're starting your bike, you have a Harley. I can't remember what the exact voltage is, but if the voltage dips below that point, what the hell? I don't know what that is. I'm like, what is on my back? But if your voltage dips below a certain point, my glasses down here. There we go. You gotta get that check engine light. All you gotta do is go through and clear it. I just haven't had the time to do it. This battery is gonna be due soon. They seem to last about 2 years. It's got the factory stock Harley-Davidson in it. I've had this thing for 2 years, so Yeah. It's not bad though being a truck driver. I still get to put miles on them. Like actual miles. I know there's gonna be people out there, I put 40,000 miles on my bike a year. Well, good for you. I'm happy for you. I got days I have to drive my truck. I have days that I'm not even at home to ride it. Because I drive a truck for a living. Yeah. I think that's pretty good. I still average about 10,000 miles a year riding. Somewhere between 10 and 20. Depends. And, I don't know, maybe this bike's a little more accurate because the one bike was, it was in the shop for, what, 8-9 months waiting on Harley to get their parts from China so that my motorcycle could be fixed. Yeah. A genuine American Harley-Davidson. Parts by China. We've got a worldwide economy, folks. We're all connected. It's like, you want to bring the jobs back. I guess I can get into that. There's a huge problem with that. Because what we want to bring back is what we had. You know, that factory that left that everybody in town worked at. Good jobs, benefits. And it left and it went to Taiwan or Vietnam or India. Hold on. That was a hare. Lovely. I think my cat's getting in my helmet. Like, this smells like you. I'm gonna curl up and sleep in here. I get cat fur in my face. But anyways, we want that job that left. And that job's not there anymore. That job's not even in that factory. And when they bring the factory back, it may have provided 5,000 jobs before. Now it's going to provide like 150, maybe. You know, just enough to run all the automation, and it's getting less and less. And that is taking our jobs faster than any immigrant and then any foreign nation automation. And I'm the person who won't take the toll road because they don't have a person there to hand my money to now. It may not have been the best paying job in the world, but let's face it, most of those factory jobs weren't either. They were lower end. Most of the factory jobs we're wanting back. Not all of them, most of them are kind of lower end, like the bottom of the middle class, working class, you know, that thing. It's not like you're upper middle class or you're middle class. 99% of those jobs are, I mean, they're better than minimum wage. And that was still too expensive. You know? So they shipped them over. We priced ourselves out of a lot of things, like the auto industry. Auto industry fucked itself. You know, I got some relatives that worked in that, and one guy got paid an unreal amount of money plus benefits on top of that, and all he did was load the gun that put the VIN number on the car. You know, this is his job, that's what he does. And your job's not worth what they're paying you, they're gonna find someone else to do it. It's the other thing too. There's sort of a factory reset where it doesn't matter what they raise the minimum wage to. It doesn't matter how much you think your job's worth. There's a value that job just intrinsically has, you know? And society's going to default to that. And whatever currency manipulation or whatever that we're doing is going to be adjusted. It's a lot of the problem we have now too is there's that natural adjustment that's just going to take place no matter what. And that's also one of the reasons why the jobs went overseas, as a lot of the stuff was outpriced and they can get it done cheaper there. It's capitalism is what it is, and basic laws of economics. You know, it's who do you place more value in? You know, the guy that washes dishes or the cook? Which one are you going to pay more money? Let's say the cook made $20 an hour and now you raise the minimum wage up to $20 an hour. Is that cook now a minimum wage worker? No. And the prices are going to fall back to where that dishwasher is going to be making the value of the money, not the amount, the value of it. You know, we talk about inflation. Raising the minimum wage causes inflation. It does, but in itself, not as much as you would think. What it really is the value of the good or service. It has a value that beyond which people are not going to pay. Harley's reaching that, you know. The price of their motorcycles are just at this point of fuck you. You know, if you're not rich, you can't afford a new Harley. So they're marketing towards their rubs. You wonder, why is Harley-Davidson leaving their base? You know, why is this? Well, because their base doesn't have the money to buy their motorcycles. Quite simply put, their base, as in what we think of as their base, not what Harley-Davidson corporate thinks of, are their shareholders. But what we think of as their base, we're talking middle class, working class, mostly dudes, you know, American, you know, the guy we're all thinking of in our head. That dude can't drop $40,000, $50,000 on a motorcycle. You know, he's got rent, he's got a car note, he's got child support. He can't afford the new Harley. He can get a used Harley, but he can't afford that new Harley. Or even worse, he finances it through Harley. They have some insane financing options. I heard they had one that was even more than 7 years, and I'm like, what? No. 7 years is the longest you want to finance anything on wheels, and you really don't want to finance it for that long. You know, that's too long. They're making too much money off of you. If you got your bike financed for 7 years, do yourself a favor next time. When you walk in to buy another bike, if you're going to finance it, bring some fucking lube, because you're getting fucked. you know? You look out. When I work construction, you know, and I would drive trucks for them, I would haul the equipment that I ran, and I would run equipment, and I would get rained out. And my grandfather was too broke up to be finishing concrete and stuff anymore, so he was selling cars, and I'd go help him sell cars. And you would be surprised what a fraction of a percent will do over the course of a loan, and how much money it's making people, how much you're getting screwed out of. But that's really Harley's biggest problem. Does Harley consider that their base market? Well, they have some people on the board that still see that as, you know, the traditional, hey, this is what made us, you know? But realistically, what is their base market? Their base market is this dude with a six-figure income living in the richer area of the suburbs that can afford for Harley to do everything to their bike, can afford to put the payment of what a house should cost down, you know, and they're probably going to buy it, you know, they've got the money to actually buy it, you know, and they might finance it, but it's people, you know, most of the people buying a Harley, woo, got some gravel in the ruts. Alright. Most people can't afford to even finance a Harley until they're in their 40s. So you're working class factory dude. You're working class. They're in a refinery or a chemical plant or whatever. They're a truck driver. You can't afford to finance that thing until you're in your 40s. The other people buying them got more money than they got sense. You know? And I'm not saying that Harley shouldn't offer some loaded, ridiculous package or something like that. I smell burnt rubber. Is it me? I don't smell it anymore. Was it the bus? Must have been the bus. I'm not saying that Harley shouldn't offer a $60,000 motorcycle at their top end. Do it. Fully loaded, all the bells and whistles. But they need affordable bikes, and they're kind of getting back to it a little bit. I think what is that bike? The I think it's the Nightster. It's right about $10,000 now, and with inflation, that's probably about where it should be, you know. But these tariffs aren't going to bring the prices down. They're going to go up. The foreign bikes are probably going to go up. And is that going to make American bikes sell better like it did in the 80s? Not really. Hey, doggy. He's in the ditch being a good boy. Because they're not going to drop the prices down to what they should be. They're just going to be like, oh, we can charge more money. The American companies that don't give a fuck about you are just going to charge you more money because their competition's having to pay higher prices to get their products over here, and they're going to charge more. And they're going to charge you whatever they can get out of you. They're not going to be nice and say, well, let's lower it. No, they're not going to do that. So I don't see the price of anything going down. Like, Harley needs good starter bikes. They kind of have that. But what they really need is something like they had with the Sportster. They really need something a little smaller cc, but let's face it, an 883 doesn't have that much power. You know, we all know that conversion metric to standard on the power and displacement and all that kind of shit. The length of the stroke and the weight of the bikes. Pretty much they should have never gotten rid of the Sportster. That was perfect. And then you could pay a little money and have it built up, and it's a 1200 now. No, you got a Harley-Davidson and they'll talk you into that. You know, your first bike with a M8 117. You know? I'm not saying you can't do it. Probably not your best option. Probably need to go find something used that you can get some throttle control and shit first. And don't give a fuck about dropping it. It's like this bike right here that I'm on. Imagine, or just go back to when you first started riding. You get something like this, you put yourself in debt for all that money, and you drop it. Or you whiskey throttle it. Or, you know, all the kind of mistakes that people are gonna make. Not everybody, some people don't, but most people have some mistakes like that. I've had some close calls, and I'm not a new rider, you know? I've hit gravel and said, oh shit. I've come really close. Hell, I hit a tree a few years ago. I had essentially a low side turn into a high side. Kind of somewhere between a high side and a whiskey throttle at that point. Because once I went over the curb, I was trying, but I wasn't succeeding. It was so quick. Everything happened so quick. You know? It's slow-mo in your head, but in reality, it's so quick. And there's nothing you can do. There's a point where you're just completely out of control and you're fucked. You know, and I've been there. I can speak from experience. I've been there. You know? And you got that fraction of a second to make a decision. And say you went out and you bought that big road glide, or that big street glide, and you got that bandana on your head, and you're looking at tattoos. You're at an intersection. You gotta take off. You start leaning it left. You're making that left hand turn and you hit gravel. And Lord knows you ain't got a helmet on because you're not a pussy, right? You know? So hopefully you didn't hit your head. I have a cousin, 18 years old, dropped his bike. Well, it's a bike he was test riding at an intersection. And I missed the hole today. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I missed it. Awesome. There's a pothole there that sometimes I don't see quick enough. No, he hit his head. And he died. So, that shit is serious. Gotta do those head checks. I'm around so much construction. There's so much gravel. The past few days there's been a lot of gravel in this U-turn up here. Like a lot of gravel in the U-turn. The one day I was glad I took my truck. I'm like, holy shit. It looked like one of them construction trucks just dumped, like cleaned out their bed. You know? There's still a lot of gravel. It's getting blown around. But it's there. Making this turn right here one day, I hit gravel and it goes vroom. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm glad I brought spare underwear, because that was scary. And I mean, that would suck for me too. All the money for this bike, I'm no different. I spent way too much money on this motorcycle. It was a poor financial decision. I was fucking stupid, but I love the bike, you know? And that's the situation a lot of us find ourselves in. Kind of like back to the other thing. Things have a value that it doesn't matter what you say it's worth. You know? It really doesn't. You can raise the price of something all you want. Doesn't mean people are going to buy it. And at a certain point, you may change your whole demographic that you're selling to, you know? It may not be the same people anymore. But I mean, most companies aren't doing what they started off doing. Most of your big major companies started off doing something else. And now they're doing whatever they're doing now. That's just the way it is. People trying to stay in business, and I honestly don't fault them for that. I mean, do what you gotta do, man. But there's still a price. There may be a price like, say, a 1911. There's really two price points on a 1911. There's $400 and there's like $2,000. You're selling to two different people. The ones that I make, you're talking upwards of $2,000 if I were to sell them. It's that kind of... You can look on my Discord, you can see what I make. Other than that, you have your best bang for your buck. This thing just works as long as you put FMJ in it, because it was made for fucking 230 grain hard nose full metal jacket 45 ACP. That's what it was made for. You know? They don't like hollow points. They don't like flat nose ammo. And that abortion of a fucking gun, that, you know, the 9mm version. You know, this 38 Super, I'll accept that. It's got a history to it. And if you don't know, look it up. It's pretty cool. So I accept the 38 Super. I do not accept the 9mm. And 10, sure. 9, no. 9 has its place, and it's not in a 1911. But a problem you will have if you get like 9mm or those little 380s and stuff like that. Like they'll have it a range that you can rent. If you get that flat nose ammo, because 9mm has that option. And you're like, why does the gun work? It's not meant to run that ammo. I have found though that SIG V-Crown, as far as hollow points, seems to run pretty good in a 1911. So if you wonder what my carry ammo is when I have my 45 on me, when somebody says they're carrying a 45, That's what they mean. If they don't mean that, they're wrong. They just are. They better have like a drop leg holster and a single action fucking, yeah, you know what I mean? If they're not meaning a 1911, I don't care what anything else is. But the point was, there's two different price points there. You've got your one is a tool. Well, they're both tools, but one's more of a work of art kind of thing. But you have your basic tool. You know, before Glock ever came around, which is what Glock is, and to Glock's credit, they don't claim to be anything else. They got fanboys that claim anything else, but I mean, Mr. Glock is like, hey, this is what it is, this is what it does. And, you know, he fights design changes. I'm kind of with him on that. Because, I mean, it is what it is. This is what it is. It's a fucking brick. It throws lead at you. Or it throws lead at what you want it to throw it at. It does what it's supposed to do. It's not a work of art. It'll never have a good trigger. I don't care how much money you put into it. Can you get used to it? Can you train with it? Yep. Did I used to shoot competition with a Glock? Yep. So, but you have your tool. That $400 Rock Island, you know. Now there's some guns in between there that have their own history. Like some people want a Colt 1911. Okay, cool. You know, you'll pay a little more, depending on which Colt 1911 you get, by the way. And even though I said all that bullshit about the abortion of a 9mm 1911, there actually is one 9mm 1911 that I would want. And only one. And it is a Gold Cup that started off its life as a 45. This is back before they really made 9mm anything really other than a Luger. I can't see, motherfucker. But in the movie Cobra with Sylvester Stallone, that is a 45 caliber 1911 that has been converted to a 9mm. And because of that movie, and I'm a fan of the movie, I also want the car, but that's the only one that I would want. But back to the point, the two different price points there. It's kind of where we're getting with the motorcycles, you know. They're going to end up with basically two different things, or one, I don't know. But they still got their value. You're not going to pay $2,000 for a fucking Rock Island. Most of you got guns, most of you know what I'm talking about. You're not going to pay for that. Now, a custom fucking, you know, I've took my polishing stones and I've hand polished it. Everything on it is fit perfectly. It's a work of art. It's a barbecue gun. Let's face it, it's a fucking barbecue gun. You'll pay $2,000 for that. You know? Hell, you'll pay $1,000 for that CZ 75. Is it worth $1,000? No. It's worth about $600, but you'll pay $1,000 for it. And if you're paying $600 for a Rock Island 1911, do yourself a favor, don't buy anything else. Have somebody help you with your finances, because it's not worth $600. That is your bargain basement tool. It will get the job done. Point and shoot. And it's going to go bang when you pull the trigger. You know? That basic design. You know? Tried and true for over 100 years. Proven, battle tested. Although it really wasn't ever carried by anyone who had to shoot anyone until maybe Vietnam, and that was by a tunnel rat. You know, tunnel rats probably killed more people with the 1911 than were killed in the entire World War. Both of them, put them together. Just tunnel rats in Vietnam probably killed more people. You know, that's more who they issued them to. These people aren't supposed to be out there with a gun shooting, but they gotta have a gun. Yeah. Because I have to kind of end it on that. You can see the refineries and stuff up in front of me. So there's a value to everything. Doesn't matter where the company sets it at. Doesn't matter what the government says it is. There's a value of what the people are willing to spend. That value is not just monetary. It's not just money. It's time. It's effort. How far are you willing to drive to go get it? You know? What are you willing to do for it? How much of your life are you willing to give up for this item? And that's its real price. I think Harley's exceeded that. And their numbers are showing it. I think people are using the DEI and all that crap as an excuse. You know? Harley wasn't doing anything anybody else wasn't doing. It's just like a corporate culture thing that was just that, corporate culture. You know, didn't have anything to do with their dealerships or anything else like that. And I think people use that as an excuse. The reality is, there's a value to the product. And they're exceeding it. Granted, some of you are going to be dumb enough, including myself, by the way, so I'm not taking myself out of this, to go in there and make some really bad financial decisions and sign for them for 7 years or even apparently more now, which is fucking insane, you know. But they've priced themselves out to where only the Reds can afford them. You know, the guys that have a 2,000 mile bike they've had for 10 years, those guys, either that or they have 60,000 miles and they're a member of Hog. It's one or the other. But anyways, I will catch you fine folks later. You're awesome. I love you all. Adios, Fio con Dios, sayonara, nashla, hasta la vista, ciao. Deuces, yo. I'll catch you later. Y'all watch yourselves.